Welcome to the LaggSpike Podcast, brought to you by GamingLag.com. I am your host, Mike Chalice. With me, as always, the man with the beard, Matt Bird.
How's it going?
And Mr. Gloom and Doom himself, Sam Landry, who has been delaying us for the last 30 minutes of starting with awkward laughter and really, really bad stories.
I'm going to put my head back on.
Everybody's mic's on this week. That would be a good start. Everything is good there.
Okay. Is the board on?
The board's there. Well, otherwise I wouldn't be getting these weird lines here,
okay.
so that's
good to know.
We're going to start off today by talking about something that is incredible, and it's basically why we love being gamers and are proud to talk about being gamers, and that is the amazing games done quick.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Unbelievable speedrunners going through games, raising money for cancer research. $1.3 million.
Crazy.
Unbelievable. There are charities that, like, celebrities endorse that don't make that much, so...
We should do bad games done slow.
We'd actually be able to do that.
Yeah, we would.
But that's the main reason we want to talk about. That's the main reason we mention it. That's the main reason we do this. We love being gamers. We love being part of that group. I mentioned that actually, like, on a regular basis, that gamers are completely supportive. And I know this may jinx it a little bit, but as an example, we have been doing this for about 5 months, I would say, in total. And we have gotten nothing but positive feedback.
Woohoo!
With the odd, what's a podcast and stuff. I'm sorry if you don't know what a podcast is. The internet can't help you. You probably shouldn't listen to it.
Yeah. It's the guy who likes
But yeah.
cats.
Any comments on that? I know you're mentioning, what did you were talking about somebody did a...
When I found out about Amazing Games Done Quick, I was actually, I was going on Twitter, and I see I'm sorry, I forget your Twitter handle. We were talking about this guy that was doing Ocarina of Time, the Child Dungeon. He did it blindfolded, and he learned how to do it blindfolded by helping a blind friend play video games. Did the whole dungeon by sound.
Unbelievable. And those are very special stories, things like that, and that obviously that just contributes to the amazing community that we love and that we're trying to, like, build within. I also got a chance yesterday finally to sit down and watch. I haven't been a World of Warcraft player in a while, but I finally watched their 1-hour documentary called Looking for Group, and the stories in that are very touching, and it's just amazing what games have gotten people through in tough times and stuff in their life. So I got a little teary-eyed. I'm not going to lie, because I can relate to a lot of stuff in that. But without further ado, let's talk about what we've been playing this week. We'll start with who wants to go.
We'll go with Sam.
We'll go with Sam. Sam A.
Yeah.
What have you been playing?
Destiny.
I can't wait for February when that is not the answer to every question every week.
March comes and it will be Destiny again.
And then guess what?
There's another expansion.
September comes, and then guess what? Whatever the next month after that is, I don't know. Dragon Age. I've dabbled a little bit in that.
Yeah, you said you were getting back into it. Have you continued at all anymore, or are you just still?
I just kind of walk around like everything in the Highlands or whatever.
Yeah.
Are done, and yes, there's a plow going back outside because I think they might be able to hear that.
That's all right.
Yeah, whatever. We live in Canada, the Great White North for a
Yeah,
reason.
there's a snowstorm going on right now, so don't mind any weird noises. So Destiny, that's pretty much it for you this week then, other than a little bit of dabbling into Dragon Age?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Matt, you?
A lot of sleeping.
I tried NES Remix for Wii U, and I was so excited. I think it was the retro games that I grew up on, and this is... I
think what I heard was, what the hell is this bleep?
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
It's the venting that came out of this, man. Explain to us why there was so much venting of all these great classics that are accessible as soon as you put this NES Remix in the machine.
What? Accessible?
Yeah.
No, you have to play mini games based off these great games to unlock the game. Like, I was looking forward to Super Mario 3. I was looking original Super Mario. I do not want to play mini games where I climb the Donkey Kong ladder, starting in the middle, and get to the very top to play the full game. I'm sorry, no.
So what you're saying is you buy the game and you actually don't have access to all the games at once, like a normal collection would be.
Not at all.
So that to me is silly. Like, the whole point and the whole draw to that is that, oh my god, I grew up with these games. Let's go and get that, and then we can play all these games, and that'll be, a few hours of fun at least. So, and that's not what it is.
No, I had an hour of no fun to unlock.
An hour of no fun to unlock 10 minutes of more no fun.
And then
that's awesome.
Why did you play NES Remix? For what reason?
Because I wanted to do retro Let's Plays.
No, there was something else.
Oh, F Destiny?
Yeah.
Destiny was angering me? Yeah, I played some Destiny too. Started my second character finally. And
I'm on my
it's
third.
funny because every week I talk to him about Destiny because I haven't played it, and I probably won't play it just because there's so many other games I want to play. And every single time I talk to him, he tells me he hates himself that he's still playing it.
I don't know why I am. I seriously don't.
And that seems to be the general consensus. A lot of people will defend it, and that's fine. I understand the draw to it because I played the crap out of it when it first got released. But like I also understand the premise of I have no idea why I'm playing this game because there's nothing left to do anymore. You get a deal.
Didn't have to restart Diablo, I'd be playing that.
Yeah,
but I got to restart from zip.
Yeah.
That
well,
was
that's your own fault.
Well, was it?
Yep.
I think it's my PS4's fault.
Oh, okay. Well, that's your PS4's fault. So we're gonna move on from that, I guess, and we're gonna do the news. And starting this week, we're getting a little bit more confident in our podcast abilities. Reason I am.
Oh, okay.
The reason we broke up the podcast in weeks before is because in case we needed to re-record something, it wasn't re-recording an entire episode. We're pretty confident in our actual abilities now. Well, I'm pretty confident in our actual abilities now. So we're just gonna mow through. That way, there's none of these random pauses of music and stuff. Even though that go-kart song is phenomenal, and everybody loves to listen to it. But for video podcasts, it doesn't work as well. Everybody doesn't want to just have a random blurb of music in the middle while we
get
talk
the first
amongst
Gaming
ourselves.
Lad soundtrack.
Yeah,
and all it is
one. It's a single, really. So we're going to move on to some news, and there was some interesting news, nothing really major. First bit of news, though, really, really kind of out of left field. After 21 months off, Rock Band will be getting new DLC tomorrow.
Yay!
I don't know. I know there was a little story about that before where they were sort of testing the market to see if people were ready for another Rock Band.
Yes.
So was the consensus that maybe they don't need another Rock Band, maybe they just need more music?
No, they need a new Rock Band because no one has those drums anymore, or guitars, or microphones, or anything.
That's the problem, though, with games that require peripherals. They break, or after you get tired of that game for a while, there's no space in your apartment or house to store it, so you just give them away or sell them. And then when you do want to go back to it, you can't.
I can think of 2 people that I know who used to have it, moved, and it got lost in the move.
Right.
Oh, the guitars.
But it's not because those are put in boxes marked not really a priority. Like it's Rock Band stuff. So the other problem is that when you bought that kit that came with everything, one guitar, a drum set, a microphone,
a truck to deliver it to your house.
It was a huge box, and it was $200 for a video game. That's insane. That's crazy.
Yeah, $200.
It was more than that, was it?
If you bought the one that came in the wooden case that everything's stored in nicely.
Oh my god!
Did you buy that?
Yeah, me and the buddy did.
Where?
I don't have mine anymore.
That's unbelievable. It's and therein lies the problem where
I don't see that
with games slowly increasing, and of course, sort of the inevitable future that we've talked about of digital only, which is going to happen at some point.
I still think if they re-released one for Xbox One or PS4, they would make quite a bit of money.
Yeah, they may. Absolutely. And they may
buy it.
restart it, but it might not be the right time. Maybe from that survey, much like, and I know it's not in the news that we have here today, but maybe much like that survey that Ubisoft put out, they were just trying to gauge what people would really prefer, and then go based on that, or at least to figure out what they shouldn't do. And maybe the result was we just need to release more music. But I don't know anybody who has the game Rock Band anymore, and the ones who did don't have the instruments, so they can't play it anyway.
Well, we can start the Gaming Lag Band. Yeah.
Jesus.
You mean he's going to do everything with it and be background because...
No, with your voice right now, you could sing gloriously.
You could be like Phoebe on Friends. You just have that raspy, sexy thing going on. Absolutely.
I'll just be playing the bass. Boom, 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 boom.
It doesn't make that sound. It's actually just a click, 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 click. All right, moving on to the next piece of news. Nintendo has stopped shipments to Brazil. Probably a realization of how expensive things are there. We all work in retail. And we have people from Brazil that visit here. And when they come here, they buy
everything,
every piece of electronic that they can take back with them to Brazil, because apparently, like an Xbox, there's like $850.
Yeah,
that's insane. But because of the amount of money it costs Nintendo to ship it there, they have, for the foreseeable future, stopped shipments. So Nintendo products no more in Brazil.
An iPhone would be like $2,000.
They're atrocious, and that's why you have people going into stores when they visit here saying, I don't care if it's $800 or $900 for a brand new iPhone. I'll pay it because that's half of what I pay in Brazil. Metal Gear Solid 5 kind of running on the coattails of GTA 5 Remastered. Now going to have Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. It's going to have first-person mode now after a patch.
Hey, maybe that means that the final one, the Phantom Pain one, will have first-person mode too.
Maybe. So if you want to play a 9-minute game in first-person mode, Ground Zeroes will have that.
Come on. How awesome would it be for you to play first person and then you get into the cardboard box and all you see is through the little slit?
You already do that when you go
into
the
well, I don't
box.
know that because I've never played one, okay? So,
can you imagine if when Ground Zeroes came out, they charged $60 or $70 for that game? Would have been. They did?
Yeah.
It was like 40.
Whatever. It was super ridiculously expensive for a $9 game.
$9.
9-minute game. I need to go to bed.
Dragon Ball Xenoverse delayed. Very sad. By 1 week. So not really a big deal. Not really sure why the delay. I'm assuming it's something with production.
When you told me?
I have no
recording
idea.
when you told me.
I made Sam think it was going to be another year before he got it, and he's super psyched for that game. But that's neither here nor there.
I want to punch things.
Minecraft Pocket Edition tops $30 million in sales. Oh, good
cool, that's
Lord.
half of his house.
Yeah, well, a little bit less than half. Yeah, but that's only the Pocket Edition, which is a crappy version for like iOS and Android.
Did I mention this on the podcast last week, that it took 2 days for someone to recreate his house in Minecraft?
No, because that's not real news, and we didn't let you say it.
Well, now it's on there. It's there.
It's crazy.
This is sort of cool. My love of indies is pretty big. I mean, definitely not like some people, but Transistor, which I finally got to play. I started it yesterday, and I'm going to be doing a Let's Play of Transistor because it's a phenomenal game. They hit 600,000 units sold, obviously digitally, and Bastion hit 3 million sold. So Supergiant Games, obviously, like no sign of slowing down. The cool thing is both games are very different, which is something I like from developers instead of just saying, hey, let's make Bastion 2.
You mean indie developers?
Yeah.
Because no one who develops games nowadays does that.
Yeah, well, indie developers.
No big AAA company.
That's what I'm saying, and if they did, they might get a lot of respect. Unfortunately, 3 million is nothing compared to the AAA franchises that are the same every year that sell 7-8 million in the first
horse
week.
Is dead, and they're still beating it with a freaking stick.
Yes.
Still.
Call of Duty?
What was the Call of Duty this year? 13? What was it? What was the number? 10?
No. 7? 8?
World at War
7.
5. Modern Warfare 2 is 6.
No, well,
Black Ops is 7.
Black Ops 2.
Modern Warfare 3 was 8.
Black Ops 2 is 9. No, Ghost? It's 11.
It's 11.
It's
oh,
11.
Lord, that's ridiculous.
There's also 12 too, because there's also Call of Duty Classic.
They're catching up. Hey, they're catching up to Final Fantasy.
Yeah. that's because Square Enix tends to find needs to make Final Fantasy 13 2. So instead of making another numbered game which sells millions, they make games that don't sell. New Baldur's Gate's in development. That's the next piece of news I have. Anybody who's a fan of the series is great. It's very Diablo-esque. Dungeon crawly.
Is that PC?
Nope. It was on consoles the last one I played anyway.
I don't know.
It's been a while.
Last one I played was PC.
Microsoft's new YouTube and Twitch rules. Matt, you have a little bit more details on that.
You know more, yeah.
Well, I guess before, I don't know much about it before, I was just reading the other day, Microsoft did new monetization rules. So if you are a Twitch streamer, a YouTuber, and you have ads and stuff on your site, before Microsoft was like, no, you can't use our console, and now as long as it's YouTube or Twitch, says nothing about anything else. In the release, it only said YouTube and Twitch. You can actually make money off using their console.
Which is pretty cool. I mean, it's nice of them to change their rules. Important to know, though, that doesn't include Minecraft, even though Microsoft owns it. They have their own set of rules. They're basically their own separate company within Microsoft.
I'm going to say it because you're going to punch me in the face. But, for example, people who are excluded from some of those rules, Rooster Teeth with RVB, they have their own. They're okay to make that.
Yeah,
they don't. Basically, we can't come up with a new version.
I would imagine if there was an issue there, that would have happened a long time ago.
No, but
before
yeah, but
made a bunch of money off
in
that.
the article I read, they're excluded from that.
Yeah.
So is Minecraft.
They have
Minecraft.
the express permission, which
Yeah.
is Nintendo's rules.
That's because they make
permission.
Xbox makes so much money off of them for that. So much money.
Minecraft is kind of going back to Minecraft. They hit 1 million concurrent players on PC, which is actually more than Dota 2's had.
Now I wonder how many of those are people who have been playing it since before
Concurrent, I believe. I mean, doesn't that mean they were on at once?
Yeah. Concurrent
Not
is
just
on
not
and
just
off.
playing.
Whatever, man.
They sold way more than that.
I don't understand how English works. Leave me alone.
They-
Je vais seulement parler français.
That sounds like for English.
Probably the coolest news via it's called Internet Archive. You can actually use your browser now to play up to I think there's it says 2,400 MS-DOS games on your browser for free, including the likes of Wolfenstein 3D, Duke Nukem 3D, and the most important of all of those is Commander Keen.
That's damn right it is.
It's most important.
Yeah, oui, c'est vraiment
Oh
intéressant.
man, I know you're way too young. Commander Keen probably came out before you were born, but
Yes, it did.
it is. Oh man, I have fond memories of getting very frustrated with that game. You had a world to walk in. It was like the computer version of Zelda, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Except
awesome.
I hated the pogo stick. I won't lie, I hated the pogo stick.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I just prefer the blaster. It's 4 was the one I played them. Man, we're dating ourselves here. Let's move on to the next piece of news, which is Friday the 13th video game announced. I wanted to put that in there, obviously, because it's a new game announcement, and 2, because it's probably going to be a narrative game. That would be my guess. And with all of these narrative games, like Telltale's doing it, Until Dawn's going to come out, that's a narrative game with quick time events. You're going to see the market now get so flooded with these games of, oh, these are movies that people are like cult followings for. Let's do a narrative story of this. And they may be good, but it's really going to saturate the market and make it seem like what Telltale's doing or things like that isn't special anymore, which is not
Nothing can take anything away from Telltale. Favorite publisher. Well, I guess not publisher. Game developer.
Yeah, well, that's you. Naughty Dog's mine. But yeah, no, I think the market's going to get flooded with these games now. And indie game, like, this is the year of the indie game. I know everybody said last year was really good, but this year has so many games that I'm just as excited for as AAA titles. But, yeah, so...
Say it, Sam.
Say it.
No?
Say what you want to say, sir.
Je ris dans ma tête.
This is a safe place.
Until the camera turns off.
Until the camera turns off, and then we have Nerf gun fights to solve our differences. Microsoft, they've been talking a lot about this new browser that they're going to have with Windows 10. It's called Spartan. And they've already announced that, like, the Xbox and the Windows PC is going to have Cortana, sort of like their version of Siri that Apple has. But and they've also announced that avatars are going to, they advertise that Avatar's biggest adventure yet is coming. I imagine everything is just going to be completely synced, whether you're a Windows like PC gamer or have a PC as well as Xbox. So I think they're all going to intertwine together. I think that's all that means. But you are getting close to being able to jump from your PC to your Xbox, and they will have the exact same UI. And that's sort of what they're going after, in my opinion, I guess.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, the avatars to me a lot of people like their avatars on Xbox. I don't care. Yeah, I took 10 minutes to make mine look the way I wanted it to, but after that, I'm never going to touch it again.
My girlfriend made mine for me.
Yeah. It doesn't matter though. I'm just saying, like, it's not to me like a giant feature. More importantly to me would be to improve on features that need to be improved on. Like in the example of PlayStation, fix your goddamn networks. Like,
yeah, your UI, what?
UI, yes, it needs to be. You need to be able to customize it a bit.
You mean it should look like the one for the PS3?
No,
yes.
It should. No.
Yeah, there you go, buddy. Yeah.
God, we're not getting into that again.
Yes,
There's going to be a patch for Destiny. It's going to be coming out tomorrow, is it?
That's what it sounds like.
That patch is going to prevent people from bugging out the new raid boss, Crota, so you can't beat him
by pulling an Ethernet cable anymore. And supposedly you can't to the whole, pretty much every glitch that was in it that people were using to actually solo the raid will be gone.
Yeah. So they're gonna fix that, make it much harder, obviously, for anybody to do it. That's any MMO. That happened with World of Warcraft for years. There would always be this stupid exploit that you can do to beat a boss. And of course, if you did it, you would beat the boss, but then you would never learn how to do it. Then they would revoke that ability. Then you'd go in to try and do it again, and you would spend an hour trying to do that exploit that's now fixed, or you would spend an hour trying to learn how to do the fight properly, and you couldn't do it. So,
are you using that as a segue for the next bit of news?
Yes, I am, because new update to World of Warcraft, even though I still don't play right now, but I have had the itch for a long time, is they've just integrated Twitter to World of Warcraft. I think that's the coolest update ever.
Tweet.
I am addicted to Twitter. There's definitely no word of a lie. Anybody who messages me on Twitter knows that I pretty much, unless I'm working, responds to them almost instantly. Love Twitter. It's a great way to, for free, get the word out there. We have a lot of major supporters of us on Twitter, and they help us by retweeting. And that's what it's all about, right? So social media allowing you to interconnect with people. Like, who knew that somebody that supported us in our Kickstarter was from New Zealand? Like, they were like, hey, this sounds really cool. Like, that's crazy. Made no money off her, but I just think it's cool that the word's out there now. That
what? You're shifty eyeing and it's creeping me out. You keep going back and forth between.
Speaking of Kickstarter,
you guys are talking.
Before we get to the wrap up and go over some emails and our Gamer Spotlight, I did want to ask anybody who supported us in our Kickstarter. You will be getting your prizes. We mailed them out last week. When you get them, we would love to have some pictures of you guys with our swag and stuff. Would love to have that, and if you could, go to the website, go to Contact Us, and send those to us. I'd love to put them on Twitter and all that other stuff.
After us driving all the way to the post office?
Without the packages, yes.
God.
Yes. So yeah, moving on, we're going to do our wrap up. We're going to go over some emails, and we actually are starting to get quite a few a week, so we're sorry if we don't get to yours when you ask it. We're only going to pick 2 a week, and this week we got some good questions. First one coming from Donald McKellar. Donald McKellar writes in and says, was wondering what was your favorite Xbox exclusive all the way from original Xbox to Xbox One. And before we answer that, I'm going to say you guys can write into the show any questions like that. It doesn't have to be a novel. You don't have to send us these giant paragraphs of all this other stuff. Just ask us some questions you want us to talk about. So
get to know us.
Go to gaminglag.com, click on contact us, and it'll give you a direct app, a form to fill out, as well as gaminglag@hotmail.com.
We're switching spots on this close to next week.
So guys, favorite Xbox exclusive, Xbox all the way to Xbox One. What is it?
Matt?
I'm gonna go with the Fable series.
Good choice.
I have stayed away from 3 just because I've heard some horror stories about it. I will play it eventually, I imagine, but looking forward to the Xbox One version.
It's weird because Fable 1 was one of my favorite games of that generation.
Amazing.
Fable 2 was disappointing, even though all the way up until the end.
Nothing?
Even though all the way up until the end. Hey, stay tuned here, all right?
Yeah. Yes, the ending of Fable 2
was disappointing,
and
then Fable 3 was more of that. But it's weird what they do with the Fable series. It's like they experiment. They use the Fable series to experiment to maybe drive some sales, because the next Fable is Fable Legends, which is like one person's the dungeon master and you set up a dungeon for 4 warriors to go in and take on the dungeon, that doesn't appeal to me at all in a Fable game. The whole point of a Fable game is to like make good and evil choices, and then you slowly
be in a Fable.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think that was the whole point of it before.
Dun, dun, dun.
Sam, what's your favorite exclusive?
Mine's not an exclusive, apparently.
Anymore.
Whatever. It is. It is an exclusive. It was only on that one.
Same game.
No. Obviously, I'm gonna have to say Halo because that's the one choice. Everything, but my favorite game at the time, and I'm going. Yes, Matt, I was alive when that game came out in that console. It was back on the Xbox original. Jet Set Radio Future. That soundtrack I'm going to buy tonight just because I remembered about it.
That
Oh,
game
man.
was phenomenal.
Oh,
I believe it launched with the Xbox.
What did
You
it launch with?
There was another game. It was one box and 2 discs.
I need to look at it now. I need to find it.
Put it down.
I need to find it. It's going to bother me until we figure it out. So you talk, I'll let you know.
All right. Well, yeah, so that game was pretty cool. I put a lot of hours into that game, and then there was a racing game on the other side of it of some sort. I can't remember.
It died really quickly.
Might have been Forza. Who knows?
I don't think it was Forza.
So my favorite Xbox exclusive has to be Gears of War because it basically reinvented the third-person cover shooter. I don't like Judgment by any means, but the story itself in Gears of War was really good. The gameplay was great, and I still remember in Gears of War 3, spoilers, of course, if you've never played it, when Dom dies, it was like super sad. I was actually moved by that.
Sega GT 2002.
Sega GT 2002. That was what came with it. There you go.
God.
So Gears of War definitely. I hope they announce another one at E3. But
Something
I hope
that isn't close to Judgment at all.
Yes, not even close. That was actually one of my least favorite characters in Gears of War. Was the one they based Judgment off of.
Blair?
Yeah. For me, it was anyway.
But they had
Coltrane's my favorite.
It had the best achievement in any game. Free Bear.
Doesn't matter. So moving on to the next email. The next email is from Freddie. This one's basically based around pre-orders. So what are your thoughts about pre-order offers that have been coming out recently? $250 for the top-of-the-line Halo 5 Collector's Edition. Evolve with giving you all the playable characters up front. What are your thoughts about how companies are getting ridiculous about pre-release sales boosts?
I am going to be really, really broke. Really, really fast.
So I think pre-orders important. Pre-orders are important because it's good to gauge like how many people are going to buy your game and all that stuff.
Now, with that said, segue for people who make a frickin' MMO, use that to decide, oh, maybe we should make our game servers a little bit better.
Yeah.
Before the launch of the game.
It's true.
Just a tip.
The only one I can think of in recent memory that had a good launch was Destiny, and it was pretty much seamless.
Yep.
But pre-orders I think are important. I'm starting to get tired of being able to pre-order games before I've seen anything about a game. Because that's a little ridiculous.
Which one did that happen to you two? Now it's got pushed back?
There's a bunch of them. There was like Final Fantasy 15. I already had it pre-ordered just because there was a deal. But I hadn't seen anything about it. The only reason I pre-ordered it was because there was a deal at a store where you got $20 off each game if you pre-ordered 3 that were announced at E3, and I did that because that means I was getting the games for $50. Yeah. So I did that. But I hadn't seen anything about the game.
But now you're okay. Now that you've seen some stuff.
Yes, of course. But what happens if they were just like, and we're going to cancel Final Fantasy 15? And I know I get my money back, but that's not the point.
Well, all they really showed for... What is it? Oh, mine's there. Mass Effect.
Right.
You can actually pre-order Mass Effect.
You can pre-order Mass Effect 4.
And
all they showed was the director going, we have some really great ideas for Mass Effect 4. Here's some concept art of some alien planets that we may use or may not.
Yeah.
Like that's all it was.
Yeah, and you can pre-order that.
And you can pre-order that, and that's where the problem therein lies. And then you have all these people that are pre-ordering based on when the game launches, whether they want to guarantee their copy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you pre-order it thinking, okay, the game was just announced and it's coming out in October. It's September now, I'm going to go pre-order it. Then you get a delay, like a week after you pre-order it, that it's coming out in February. And you think, well, this doesn't make any sense at all. Like, why? I didn't even need to pre-order it. So I get it. And the biggest problem is the perks you get. Because if you go to GameStop in the States, I know, but EB Games here in Canada, and you pre-order at an EB Games, you get like, we all went to the Destiny Midnight launch.
Let's not talk about that. We're going to bring back some terrible memories that may cry.
We went to the Destiny launch, and if you pre-ordered Call of Duty during that time, because Activision is the publisher for both, you got a cool black shader.
Oh yeah, Matt.
Black and yellow shader.
Talk
you look
about that shader, Matt.
What?
Talk about the shader, Matt.
I don't use it anymore.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like perks like that, and there are some stores that don't do it, which is why GameStop has all the pre-order business.
Or my favorite one. Oh, we pre-ordered this thing. Sweet, you're not getting it. Live with it.
Yeah.
That's what happens with collector's edition.
Shh. It's not happening with the one I'm getting this year.
Yeah, but anyway.
I will seriously burn the building to the frickin' ground.
So, I think pre-orders are important, but I think it is getting ridiculous, and these collector's editions are getting even more ridiculous.
Shut up and take my money.
I know, and I see that behind us. Like, obviously, we're not shy of paying for ones that we want. There are some that just aren't worth it. Like as an example, the Skyrim collector's edition with Alduin the dragon.
You mean the one that's
way back there, but. That was a great one because it gave you a worthwhile statue. And although the rock's pretty cheaply made that he sits on, the dragon itself is high quality.
Yeah.
Now, when you get these ones that are just like, okay, this is like cheap as heck and it doesn't look good, all this other stuff, it's not.
One of the two Tomb Raider collector's editions was pretty bad. The art book, comic book, whatever it was.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Yeah, and I collect art books, and Ubisoft does it the worst by far. They give you this tiny little book. Like, I bought the Deus Ex Collector's Edition, and it came with this little tiny book that you don't even want to keep because it looks like a children's book.
I can do one better than that. I got Fire Emblem for 3DS when it came out. When it came out, if you pre-ordered, you got this little tiny art book, but like yay big. Not even hardcover or anything. It was just flimsy paper. That thing got shredded pretty quickly, I can tell you that.
So if you're going to do pre-order bonuses and stuff like that, they need to be worthwhile. That's the biggest importance for me. But, yeah.
Honestly, you need to do, and I like the way they do it now. You have the digital upgrade one or anything like that's awesome for anyone who just wants in-game content, and then you have the nice, expensive I'm
going to say that Blizzard may have been the first ones to start doing that because they offer digital collector's edition that are $20 cheaper than the physical for all of their games. Yep. And for anybody who doesn't care if they have a box and a book and a soundtrack, they don't care. They get all of the in-game stuff that they want to have.
Do you have all the StarCraft ones?
Yeah.
So you're probably not getting... Okay, so you're going to want me to get the physical. Okay.
Right. So it's not...
the box and the art book and all that.
And I love collecting this stuff. It's very, very cool stuff, but at some point you have to draw a line and make decisions on which ones you want. Like, I've decided against getting the Order 1886 one, even though I thought it looked very cool. I can't justify spending the money on it because I've never, ever played an Order game because there's never been one.
Yeah.
So how, like, obviously you're a giant Halo fan, so paying $250 for a Halo one may not be such a big deal for you.
I don't have a Halo one. I still regret not.
Right, but what happens if they release it and you get an art book and a statue and the statue looks like crap?
It's a gamble I'm taking.
Right, I know that.
Scenario, once they're gonna release an image of the statue before it comes out, they're not gonna not do it.
Oh, I know that.
I think they're still making them because this one's actually a true limited edition. They're only making so many of the statue. That's it. They're only making, let's say, 10,000 or whatever. Right?
That was the same thing with the Destiny one that they made. It was limited, and that's why all three of us got ours canceled on us because Anyway,
I didn't have it because I wasn't gonna buy it.
But
and I hate you. This is your fault.
Okay, bring it back in. But to what I was saying is that if, for example, E3. I'm thinking E3 is when they're going to showcase it. It's the place that makes sense. E3 is where they're going to showcase the collector edition.
Maybe.
If not, it's going to be...
Not.
Well, yeah.
I would imagine it'll be at Halo Fest or Rooster Teeth Expo. That would be my guess. Yeah. That would be my guess.
But, whatever. Whenever they showcase it, I still have a lot of time to cancel it. So if the statue doesn't look that great to me, I can just bump my pre-order down to the step down.
Right, and I understand that, but this is why he's asking about pre-orders. Like, what do we think about? I'm okay with pre-ordering a game. I guess that's what I should say, and that's what we should because we're all okay with pre-ordering a game. Mm-hmm. What needs to stop happening is the ability to pre-order games before they've even released any details on it.
Exactly.
You shouldn't be able to pre-order a game if there's no release date. Because right now I have money that's been taken from me. Yeah. And I only may get that in 2016.
Honestly, I agree. The Halo one, I'm taking a gamble, whatever. But I agree with you. They should have at least had a complete product for me to be able to pre-order.
Correct.
Like, it shouldn't just be,
that's what I'm saying.
Eventually you'll get a statue.
Here, you can pre-order the $250 one. Oh, no, we don't know what's in it yet.
No,
but it's $250.
They do tell you. It's everything from the one that's below mine. The only difference is that statue.
There's a
just
statue.
Not knowing what the statue looks like.
Yeah.
Make it epic.
So I guess that's how we feel. Pre-orders are good. You should have a release date, and whatever you're pre-ordering, you should be able to physically see pictures and stuff like that of it in a perfect world. Unfortunately,
We don't live in a perfect world.
we don't, and game developers want to know how many people are interested in their game.
Yeah.
And it may be because 343 doesn't want another Halo MCC screw up, and hopefully they use these numbers accurately to,
And you know how you know what I've said about the screw up. I think it's just trying to have that mashup of all those different multiplayer maps mashed up together. That was what messed it up.
100%. That's 100%. It was all these different games coming together to play on different servers and stuff. And
Oh, sweet! It worked on our test servers. Oh wait, we didn't plan for it to be so glitchy with 30 billion people playing it.
yeah, I don't think there's quite that
I
many.
know,
That might have been news,
You,
but
you know what I mean, though.
Population explodes to
Yeah.
more than 4 times what it currently is.
yeah. So thank you very much for writing
It's
in.
gonna happen.
Please send more of your questions. We like answering them. We like talking about them. Gaming is our passion, and I mean, before we even do the podcast, we talk about questions and stuff that we may not read on the podcast. We are starting to get to the point, though, that we're getting more than 2 a week. So we will try and get to them. Anybody who sends in that's not a one-word thing saying hi or something will be put in for a draw for all of these lovely items on January 24th, I believe.
That's what they get, Ben.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, person who hosts Wheel of Fortune, because I don't remember his name. So we do have an Xbox 360 copy of Halo Reach. It was lying around. Take it, give it to a friend. I don't know. We're giving away a Chromecast and some sweet swag from us. But write in, so go to gaminglag.com, click on Contact Us, send us your questions or thoughts, as well as we appreciate any feedback that we get. Good and bad, obviously.
It's $20 right there.
It's true. 100%. It's a great game. It's good.
$20. It was
Absolutely.
Halo Reach is great.
It was good.
You didn't play as Mr. Chief for once.
You can also reach us at gaminglag@hotmail.com. And yeah, we love getting these. Again, anybody who writes in. Sorry, brain fart. Anybody who writes in and
wow, we're professionals.
we're
promise.
super professional on this podcast. We don't have mix-ups or anything. Again, this would have been a good time where we would just say, "Oh, we'll just re-record this section." Not this week. It's staying in. No problem. So gaminglag@hotmail.com. Go to the website gaminglag.com and click on Contact Us and send us your thoughts. Anybody who writes in will be put in for the draw. This month we will be doing this prize pack you see in front of us, and any other month we'll probably do it every couple of months. We'll figure out something.
The next one probably won't be until
March or April.
Like we probably won't even announce it until March.
Just keep in mind this is all out of pocket expenses and stuff, so we're not going to be like an IGN that's able to give away something every week. We can't.
It's our love for you.
Yes. So moving on, we're going to do our shout-outs because Gamersport Gamers is actually getting, pretty good. We have quite a few people that are wanting to join our family of gamers and stuff, and we're going to feature 3 of them every single week on the website. We have a banner on the very top of the website as well as that Monday for those 3 people. We will do a shout-out.
Where can you find that banner?
GamingLive.com, Sam.
Oh, there we go. Bringing it back to the
So
plugs.
first up, we're going to go with Michael P, because I don't know how to pronounce his last name. But we checked out your YouTube channel. Really, really great stuff. If you're a first-person shooter lover, then you go to this channel because he's got a lot of COD content. From different types of CODs, too. It's not all just the new Advanced Warfare. It's all from all over the place.
Please say he's got ghosts.
No, he's got ghost content up there, too.
Let him be.
So, yeah, so check out his channel. You can see that on the website as well. Deidre Gruzy, I hope I said your name right. She's actually
at least you can say her first name, right?
Yeah, I got that. No worries.
Yeah, she's not from the Elder Scrolls universe.
Yeah.
She liked that.
She did like it.
There you go. I'm defended.
She's a games media writer. She has her own website, gamselgaming.com. You can follow her on Twitter as well, at gamselgaming. Go to her website. She writes great articles about gaming. We retweet her stuff as long as she links it to us and all that good stuff. Big supporter of us, and we appreciate that, so we are giving it back to you. And Lord X. What do you?
Did you not hear?
Lord X, man after my own heart, plays everything. Has a YouTube channel. Please check him out. He has literally games I've never even heard of, like indie games, AAA games. Doesn't matter. He plays it all. Huge supporter of us, listens every single week. We thank you for that, Mr. Lord X. He also was a supporter of our Kickstarter campaign, and we appreciate that as well.
Yeah.
Hopefully you get your swag. I want pictures. I don't care. like it. Just send us pictures of them. We want to get some pictures put on.
I don't
website.
care. Just send us
I
pictures.
don't care what
or
you have to
else.
say about that, or else. But check him out. He's got a metric crap ton of content on his YouTube
I
channel.
prefer Imperial.
Yeah. Okay. Well, whatever. So that piece of paper is done on our high quality loose leaf here.
Hey, I took that out of my binder. Leave it
So this
alone.
week the wrap up topic is going to be where we are sort of in a gaming lull at the moment in January, as it is every year. So we're going to go over games you may have missed in 2014.
Okay.
All right. So I want your guys' feedback as I go through them. I put 10 games that I think people may have overlooked. Some people, like maybe core gamers and stuff, played all these, but maybe not. Who knows? So first one I'm going to mention, and I know both of you have not played it, is Alien Isolation.
I watched you though, and I will continue to overlook it.
Yeah. So
I didn't even watch him.
the reason I put this on the list is because it got a lot of mixed reviews. So it got low reviews on video game sites, but the actual fan base was there, and people said it was amazing.
Yeah.
My only grudge with the game was that it was way too long. And I know people, I got not attacked, but people were like, well, if it was shorter, then you'd complain it was too short. No, not really. I wouldn't have. If it was 12 hours long, that's a good game. That's a good length game.
Come on.
It was 22 hours long.
You're Canadian. You whine when it's too hot, you whine when it's too cold. You'd whine if it was too long, you'd whine if it was too short.
That's right. Let me complain. But I think a lot of people overlook this because of the mixed reviews. If you are a survival horror fan, if you do like the Alien universe, or if you like a pretty decent story, I recommend that game.
Would you have liked it more if it was the length of Evil Within, or a little bit longer than that?
I liked it a lot more than Evil Within. I would like it to be, I would say at about between the 10 and 15 hour mark, right in there.
That makes sense.
I was still in love with that game, thinking they captured Alien 1's movie universe, like atmosphere, perfectly.
It was just after that you're like, oh my god.
It was just after that, and it was the way the story went. Without giving away spoilers, it felt like the game ended 3 times.
Yeah, you were saying.
And it was just like, oh my good lord, like how much more do we have to do? Like this is insane. So moving on to an indie game that I played when it was like thundering and lightning at night at one point, which was a bad idea, was Outlast. And
I didn't know about that.
it was horrifying.
Oh my God.
I will put a disclaimer out that this game is incredibly gross.
How do you sleep?
Well,
He does.
I don't.
Okay.
But I actually like the feeling of being scared, and I love horror movies and stuff. So that's sort of why I'm into those types of games. And Outlast was up there. I'm not a big fan of the gore. I will admit that when it's pointless. And in this one had a lot of gore and really gross scenes. But the game itself was great. You were using a camera in order to see in the dark because it had night vision on it. But you always had to scramble for batteries because your battery would die while you were using night vision. And just what was going, typical story, you go to a mental asylum and then you're locked in and you're trying to escape. So, but it was terrifying. It was an indie game though, and I couldn't believe the length of it. The only thing that sucks about it, with no spoilers, obviously, is the ending. But ignore that. Fantastic survival horror game again.
There was a DLC that fixed the ending, though, wasn't there?
There was a DLC that I still haven't played yet. I haven't had a chance to, but apparently it's better than the original game itself. So I'd recommend that. Now, something that we forced Matt to play,
I'm okay with it.
and I think people missed it because nobody really knew what it was, and then once people knew what it was, people just watched videos and stuff, and then it was over. It's free. It's still there.
Yeah.
PlayStation Network. Download PT.
Yeah.
I'll try not to give away spoilers, even though I think we have mentioned it on the podcast before.
Oh my god.
But
You should experience it.
yeah,
100%. It is the best demo I've ever played.
Now, with that
100%.
said, I'm going to say this and you guys can yell at me later. Gaming Lag first, when it comes out, us three sitting here.
Oh, we're
playing
definitely
it with,
doing that.
I'm going to be
When the
there
game
with like
comes out.
a blanket, my teddy bear, a bowl of popcorn, and basically yelling at Matt every time he yelps because it's going to be hilarious. You're
Yeah.
playing it. I'm not playing it.
Yeah.
I'll just watch.
I'll play
playing
it.
it.
I'll
No,
play
no,
it.
no,
I'm
no.
going to end up in your lap again.
It was about,
Scooby-Doo.
if you actually knew how to do all the puzzles and stuff, it probably only took you about 2 hours to do.
Except
Maybe
the
less.
last puzzle
Except the last puzzle is very weird, and
was very weird. I
Yeah.
think people have figured it out now. I don't know.
regardless, fantastic demo. We're not going to give away any
God.
spoilers. Play it. If you run into trouble, just look up the guide to figure out exactly
my
what
money.
to do. And that game, when it comes out, is going to be a phenomenal
You
game.
think
It
this-
basically took the idea of Outlast, which was an indie game, and said, what happens if we put a whole bunch of money into this?
Yep.
Because that's
this
what
year
it
or next
is.
year, what do you think?
Definitely next year or
Next year.
2017. 100%.
Oh, that's
Because the person making it is Hideo Kojima
no,
and Guillermo del Toro. So when they're making it, it'll be...
So what you're telling me is
Well,
that
it'll be after Metal Gear Solid 5, and
Oh,
that's
that-
not even done yet.
that
So
sucks.
it'll be a while.
That means I have to wait for Pacific Rim 2.
But you want to know what's really good about that game is that they released that demo.
Yeah.
And then they haven't talked about it since. They're like,
Nope.
here's the demo, and then we're not going to hype this game
They-
up any more
they
than it
shouldn't
needs
even
to.
mention-
No, they
no.
had the creepy.
Oh yeah, that
Tokyo
crazy
Game-
trailer at the
no,
Tokyo Game
no.
Show. Oh
I
yeah.
haven't watched that.
Oh man,
Okay,
we'll watch it
so,
after this. It's
yeah.
really good.
Turn all the lights off first.
Alright, that's fine.
So
I
something
don't
I'll be
see
doing a
it.
Let's Play for later, and I am actually ashamed that I only played it. I started it yesterday. Is Transistor, fantastic game by the makers of Bastion, so Supergiant Games. You guys will know exactly what I'm talking about after this because they'll be doing the Let's Play with me. Fantastic indie game. Indie games are going to be the ones that are most overlooked because most people look at them and go, it's not 1080p, it's not 60 frames, it's not a Call of Duty game, I don't care.
Shh. That's all I gotta say to you.
Yes, you need to stop. You need to look at these games as what you're going to be playing between AAA titles. I wrote a little piece on the website about like the joy of indie games and things like that, and how important they are now. Because right now we're in a world of like perfect harmony with AAA titles and indie games, where the indie game developers are the ones pushing the envelope. The AAA ones are just giving you more of what you want. So,
like I said, beating a dead horse with the same.
With there are obviously exceptions. Telltale Game, I don't think, is in that group of we're going to make the same thing over and over again. That
No,
sucks.
I don't think.
And I
they've
wouldn't
made
put
the
Naughty
same-
Dog in that category as well because
No,
they
there's
wait the proper amount of time to
There's
release
some.
a game.
There's
I
some
still
like.
want another Jack game.
Yeah, 100%. But they could have killed it like they did with Ratchet and Clank
Like there's
because nobody wants to play Ratchet and Clank
give,
anymore.
give you an example. Give you an example. Someone who's not beating a dead horse, Blizzard.
Yeah.
Like, none.
Well,
like,
I mean, some people could make the argument for that, but whenever they come out with an expansion for their
Oh.
newer games or for their
I missed
games,
that,
it's completely
actually.
different.
what?
What?
In the news,
For what?
Blizzard. Unless I zoned you out and stopped listening.
For the
Overwatch.
World of Warcraft? Oh yeah.
we did. We'll mention it after.
We'll mention it next week. It's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Next game I have on the list is Child of Light, which I have played. It is not an indie game. It's Ubisoft, a smaller team of people at Ubisoft making this game. Phenomenal. I don't even know what it's an RPG, but I don't even know how you would.
I preferred Grandfather of Darkness.
Funny.
Leave me alone.
It's a fantastic RPG. It's not very long, but it's incredibly It's incredibly in depth. The art style is fantastic. I don't even know how to describe it really. I mean, you play a girl trapped in like a dream world basically, and you're trying to get back to your father. And it's like the RPG elements. Like anybody who loves like turn-based RPG would love it because there's a little bit of strategy involved. Going along with that, of course, is Valiant Hearts because it was another small team at Ubisoft who made that. I still won't play that game because it's got a dog in it, and
The dog.
I
passes.
no idea if
Pretty
the
sure
dog passes away, and if he did, I would never. Like, I am a huge dog lover.
Spoiler alert. The
yeah.
dog passes.
Well, whatever. I won't play it, but I know it's probably amazing, and everybody really loves it. Next game on the list, which is probably going to be a surprise that we put it on the list, but it came out so early in 2014. And it wasn't on like
Most
any
people literally forgot about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it wasn't on any Game of the Year watches, and
It should
because
have
it was
been.
all overshadowed by AAA blockbusters and stuff. But Infamous Second Son, it was our Game of the Year.
Basically, yeah.
We basically said, and it wasn't a big announcement. We don't have trophies to give out, obviously. But last week we said it was our Game of the Year because that game had so many good elements to
Oh.
it. The story was the worst part for sure, but it's
Still
still enjoyable.
Better than this.
True. Very true. Watch Dogs' story is probably one of the worst stories ever written. But yeah, so Infamous Second Son, if you've never played, play it. If you I always make this reference, and I know I feel like a broken record about it, but Spider-Man 2 for PlayStation 2, that's how you feel. You feel you are a badass superhero in a city, and you're able to do whatever you want, and the only time it gets tough is when you actually have to go and do like a main mission. But just running around the city and stuff, you are all powerful.
How much longer do you have to play to platinum the game, Matt?
Probably like 45 minutes, but then it'll be over.
Yeah.
I won't be able to.
Oh my god.
You won't have a reason to go back.
Yeah.
That's actually my first and only platinum so far. So, next game on the list, and I put it on here because it's an exclusive to Xbox, Sunset Overdrive. So we've all played it now. Yes?
Yeah.
And what do we think of it?
Tony Hawk with guns. Enough said. Moving on to the next on your list.
No, we're not going to move on because I wanted to mention the reason I put it on the list, which is that I think people are afraid of new IPs.
Yep.
In a lot of ways, this is the best game on Xbox One right now.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
And I would argue that point even with the Halo MCC collection and all these other games that have come out. People are afraid of new IPs on consoles. Do not be afraid of this game. It is brilliant in every sense of the word.
It's got it's basically
it's got Borderlands humor
it's got
with
the humor,
Tony
which is
Hawk,
great. Yeah.
like elements of like skateboarding and grinding
The
and stuff.
soundtrack.
The soundtrack is phenomenal. The comedy is ridiculously funny.
Jet Set Radio Future for Xbox One. Bam!
That's exactly.
You're welcome.
That's a great analogy, actually, because that's what it is.
I just thought of that.
Insomniac was a genius with their weapon design
Oh, yeah.
and their monster design.
It's
and,
nothing like Fusion. Nothing like
Yes.
Fusion.
Can't say enough good things about it. The next thing on the list is any Telltale game.
Don't wait for it on disc.
Don't wait for it on
No,
disc.
get it
Play it
now.
as it goes, or buy the season pass. Actually, that's probably smarter.
Yes, it
It's
is.
so-
smarter
Don't
to
do
buy
what I did.
Buy the season pass. These games are very, very well told. They're not your traditional, like, you can walk around and hack and slash and stuff, because anything important or intense in the game is all by QuickTime events. But
to be
the story itself is, like, as an example, The Walking Dead, most people will tell me The Walking Dead story in that game is way better than the show.
It is better. Than
So,
the show.
exactly.
anything's better than the show.
Well, that's besides the point.
The books are great.
They are.
So we're going to go with the last one on our list, and we put it here because I think most people that play this game already played on PC. I played it at BlizzCon for the first time in 2013 on a PS4, before the PS4 was launched, which was very, very cool. And it plays better on console than it ever will on
100%.
PC. And that is Diablo 3, not the original launch, but the Reaper of Souls expansion set for next-gen consoles, and I have to stress that enough. Ultimate Evil Edition, and I have to stress that enough because if you play it on PS3 and Xbox 360, it is nowhere near as refined. It does not look as good, it does not play as good, it's not the same game. But if you play it on Xbox One or PS4, it is better than you'll ever play it on PC. It is phenomenal. A lot of people miss this because most people that play these games are on PC. It is still the best couch co-op game for the current gen consoles out there.
I wish they would get some of the other things that PC does have for PS4 and Xbox One. One of our buddies at work actually plays it on PC, and he's telling me, I'm like,
yeah, and the only problem with the console stuff is
there's different DLCs and stuff.
There's more. They're ahead in DLCs because it's been out for a long time. Yes, they are.
2.1's out on PS4. It's been out since October, apparently.
Okay, well.
We stopped playing it. That's why. We haven't played it.
But anyway, they are behind. So if they do something for PC, it normally takes a few months before you get it on console. It is more fun on console. It is a point-and-click action RPG, but removing the point-and-click and allowing yourself to be able to move around with a joystick, it feels way more fluent, way better.
Yeah, it does. It's awesome.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it for the podcast. Hopefully it didn't go too bad and people don't dislike it too much because we never took breaks this week, which is
I think
a little bit harder to do.
I think it was actually longer this week without the breaks.
Well, it's definitely a little bit longer. Because there was actually content.
Matt Talk.
Matt spoke, everybody. We're done. We're quitting.
Change the name.
Change the name
of this week's podcast.
Yeah, to Matt Speaks.
All right. What is it with you and that?
I don't know.
We don't need a soundboard. I'm the soundboard.
Let's do some plugs.
You can follow us as a collective at Gaming Leg. That's leg with 2 G's.
But if you want to follow, if I want to follow you, Matt, specifically you,
what are you?
Like just yourself, because I think out of all three of us, you are the best.
Well,
how would I do that?
That's at Man W the Beard.
And do you have anything else that we're going to be doing maybe later on that you might want to mention that we're going to be putting on the website sometime this week?
Let's play.
Yeah! And Sam, if we wanted to follow you for whatever reason, How would we do that?
You know what? I may just do something that you'd have to blur out. Oh, look, it's under the table because I'm too nice.
How would we follow you, Sam?
At Mr. Gloom and Doom.
At Mr. Gloom and Doom. I am at Chalices, which is the same as my PSN name. Please go to the website if you want to add us. We're going to be updating our profile so that we have our PSN IDs on there sometime this week or next week,
Xbones.
depending, and Xbones and my Wii U ID, all that stuff. So you'll be able to add us and play with us.
We'll be getting individual business cards.
Yeah, absolutely.
And don't hesitate to email us at
gaminglag@hotmail.com or go to gaminglag.com and hit contact us again. The other thing I'm going to plug for myself is I did start a gaming blog because it is sometimes hard for us to get constant updates as far as writing and things like that. That is something I am going to try and update every single day, and I have stayed true to that since I started it. It's going to be sort of a personal look at how I look at games, what I'm playing. So I'll do gaming updates of what games I'm currently going and recommending and things like that. As well as some smaller articles of, like I did one of like the joy of indie games, and then I did one of how I feel about piracy and things like that in video games. So I'd like to plug that. It's called Gaming Afterlife. It's on the website, so you can follow that. Other than that, this week we're going to be doing, right after the podcast actually, we're going to do some Let's Play videos, so look for them this week at some point.
Such a smart plan.
Yeah. So we're going to be up nice and late tonight, but we'd like to thank you for watching and or listening. Please continue to support us, continue to give us your feedback. We appreciate all of that. And anything else to add there, gents?
No, have a great night.
You have a great night, guys. See you later.